to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. My name is Jason JROCK Houston. We're speaking with two of the members of the band Changeover Razor. And we're speaking with lead singer William Mullen and guitarist Mikey V. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great. Now, Mikey, I got to start off asking you, what's it like to play in a band with your brother?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we got that twin brother music love, you know, so it works out great, man.
Identical twins, or like you guys like to play jokes like that on people?
We're fraternal twins, and
okay.
We somewhat look alike, somewhat don't. I mean, I have dreadlocks, he doesn't, so it'd be hard for us to play tricks.
And are you loving brothers, or are you feuding brothers like the Robinson brothers?
Of course we're loving brothers, but we'll have our moments.
Yeah. And so, what's it like for you, William, to be playing these two brothers?
Well, it's a difference, but it's funny. It's like you think about Pantera.
Yeah. Van Halen, Striper.
Yeah, just people that you want. Around. It's a love. It's like you can feel the love in the room when you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
You're recording, writing.
And I'm sure you get questions like this all the time, but let me ask you, William, do you kind of feel like you're kind of their third brother, or you're all brothers more or less?
I'm like the third wheel?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Do you feel like, these guys kind of, because they're brothers, they kind of side with one another and it's you against them, or?
Oh, no, in all honesty, I feel like they are my brothers, so I feel like I'm just like a stepbrother.
Yeah.
A little bit. But, not in a bad way.
Yeah, and how did you guys all come together and first meet? I mean, obviously the brothers...
We actually met in a recording studio.
Oh, wow.
And, so when we crossed paths, we were just talking music. William was laying down some vocal tracks on some tunes and, letting it rip. And then we were talking music, and it just so happened that we have the same love of bands and styles of music. And it was like, hey, man, you want to jam with us and let's make some should I say the word shit cook or what?
Yeah, when you guys first met, Mikey, was Chains Over Razors, was that all? Was it already a name, a band, or you didn't really?
Yeah, we were. William is the newest member, and our last singer, had to bow on out for personal reasons, and it was literally at the same time when I crossed paths with Will, so it was crazy to see that transition happened so fast, and where it could be, who knows, years before you find somebody that just does their thing and does it so damn well that you're like, shit, man, I wish I had this guy in my band. And
pretty much it was me walking in. He goes, here, read this other music that you didn't write.
Yeah.
And then sing that. I'm like, what? All right.
So
I did it. It was fun.
How different was William from the original singer? I mean, when the original singer and you guys parted ways, did you initially think you had to get somebody that sounded like him, or was the goal, no, okay, that didn't work out, so we're gonna go in a different direction?
I don't think we knew.
Yeah.
We just knew that the person has to be able to sing, and and that was it. We were just looking for a singer, and Will was extremely versatile in his style and just his sound, man. It was just, he gravitated to his voice, and it was like, this is the guy, for sure.
And how long have you guys been together as a band? And I asked partly because I was kind of curious, do you have any past albums that people can purchase or go out and check out?
So 3 years together now.
Okay.
Obviously, COVID knocked out a lot of performance schedules and everything, so we were working on an album during that time, and with our last singer we have an album out which was titled Crown the Villain.
Okay.
So you can still check that out on iTunes and all the media socials.
And so here's a question: have you guys started doing any live shows right now, or you gonna wait till the album is out?
We've already had a couple shows. We have one coming up June 10th.
Yeah.
In Marionette Park, Illinois.
Yeah.
It's at Bourbon Street.
Well, yeah, and working together in the studio is one thing, but William, what was that first show like for you? I mean, as a singer for this band, I mean, this is your first show with these guys. That had to be quite an experience.
Yes, I was singing all of the other guys' stuff.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, I was already in a tribute band at the time, so I'm like, all right, this ain't.
And I got to ask, what band were you paying tribute to, if you don't mind me asking?
It was Rob Zombie tribute. It's called Hellbilly Deluxe.
Oh wow! What a and where's that based out of?
South side of Chicago-ish.
Oh wow! That's so you played the role of Rob Zombie, I'm assuming, huh?
Absolutely.
And what was that like to get all made up and dolled up, and then because
what way you're asking? What was it like? It was past tense. Yes, we're still doing that.
Oh, cool. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that must be a fun gig besides obviously getting to play Rob Zombie music, getting all dolled up and getting up on stage and doing, that's quite different from what you're doing here.
Absolutely. I was also in a STP tribute also at one time.
Wow. So you're...
So my voice kind of, the tributes kind of helped me find where I was trying to go. I was in original bands before that.
Well, I will tell you.
What I'm saying is, when I found these guys, it just clicked.
Well, I'll tell you, William, you're talking to a guy who I've interviewed a lot of people that have played in tribute bands over years because I'm a big fan of that. I live out here in LA, and it's and I mean, tribute bands out here are huge. I mean, they got the premier Led Zeppelin tribute out here, and I just tell you, I like to call it rock and roll, theater. I mean, because especially bands that do what you do, like you get dressed up, you look like Rob Zombie, you get dolled up in the makeup, you do your thing. For a lot of people, it might take them back first time they ever heard or discovered Rob Zombie music, So I think it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's literally, to me, it was always about, let's put on a show. This is fun. I wish I could do this normally. Just be that, that guy. But he's Rob Zombie, and I'm not.
Yeah. In fact, I'll just say this because I got a little brain fart a minute ago. But the Led Zeppelin tribute I was referring to is called Led Zeppelin again, and they're actually they got invited by the actual Led Zeppelin when they did a reunion show in the early 2000s with Jason Bonham, and they recorded that live CD. Jimmy Page invited these guys. He thought they were that good to play backstage at that show. Was their special guest, and they flew them over to London. So just think about that. Playing in a tribute band, you never know. I mean, even Tim Ripper Owens, he got picked to be in Judas Priest because he played in a Priest tribute band.
Yeah. So I would literally shit myself if I ever got on stage with Rob.
Yeah. And from what I understand, actually, Rob Halford and Tim Owens have become pretty good friends, and they like each other, so you never know. But getting back to Chains Over Razors, I understand that you guys have been working with Carmine Carmine Appice as a producer behind the scenes. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, he is executive producer, actually on both albums. Our first one's Last Singer, and then on this one, he wanted to get involved again. We were in the writing process, writing and recording, and I mean, anything you can do with working with Carmine's amazing. He's
an amazing guy. I've had an opportunity to interview him like a couple times, and super cool guy. And what I dig is he's got his hands. He's known from Vanilla Fudge and Blue Murder and all these other great things he's been involved with, but he's never stops. At his age, and he's still doing it.
Yeah, he really is. And, he's still doing Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
He also does Cactus.
Yeah.
And he just keeps going. And he has his own Guitar Zeus.
Yeah, I was going to tell you.
It's involved with every great player out there.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that Guitar Zeus album, it came out years ago, but it never got the proper push it really deserved, I think, until Deco started working with Carmine, because, it's out there finally, and it's getting the push it really deserves. And anybody who's Carmine fan, like, you listen to that, but I listened to that, all the songs on the album. He's a great songwriter, and it's interesting because he's got different vocalists singing these songs on this Guitar Zeus thing, but it seems to work. The album has a nice flow, and you just realize he's much more than just a great drummer. He's a great songwriter, a great producer.
Yeah, and then he got a hold of us, and
Yeah.
we see what just happened with that.
Yeah, and I imagine for a guy like your brother being the drummer and all, what a great opportunity to get to kind of work along, with Carmine in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was nervous. He's working with a legend, great drummer, and then 10 minutes later they're having a drum duel on 2 different drum kits. So it's funny to see just like how they were just communicating to each other. Something that you wish you had on camera at certain moments to share. It's just amazing to see Carmine in action.
Yeah, and talking about Deco Records or Deco Entertainment that you guys are part of, there's another artist on there, Lisa G, that he's kind of producing and working behind the scenes with. And what I think makes him a great producer is when he's working with up and coming artists, he's doing what is best for the artist. He's not trying to make them sound, like what he did in his career or whatever. He's helping them develop their thing, and he seems to have a real knack for doing that.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. I mean, he never was trying to tell us, like, okay, this and this, and that's how it's going to sound. He, if he heard something arrangement-wise, he'll address it to us, or maybe key changes, but he always left it up to us to do our style of what he is trying to tell us, as far as what he might be hearing that we're not hearing. And I gotta say, I mean, he nails it every time.
Yeah, all he told me was, hey, don't suck.
Yeah. And I mean, I got to congratulate you guys in talking about the response to this band so far, because I think the best compliment I can give you is obviously this is the only track I've heard from you guys. I mean, your publicist sent me a press release on the band. I checked out the lyric video for the song, which, as you mentioned, is Behind These Eyes. Now, this is all I've heard from the band ever, but I think the song left such an impression on me that even though I've heard only one track, I can say you left me wanting more, if you know what I mean. I can't wait for the album to come out. Even though I've heard the one track, I'm like, if this one track is that good, I can't wait to hear the rest of the stuff. And then when you learn that the track hit number 2 on Billboard, what a amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, what's interesting is Behind His Eyes actually was the first song we wrote together, and with Carmine.
Wow.
And once we finally got the tune where we wanted it, Carmine's like, all right, that is the caliber right there. Do it for every damn song. And it was like, raising the bar. And so the whole album is going to leave you with some serious impact.
Yeah, we're not going to let you down.
Now that's good to hear. Now you guys are no doubt a metal band, but here's a question for you. Do you think when the album comes out, there's going to be different sounding tracks? Like, might we get like a power ballad or something a little softer, or do you think it's all going to be okay?
Absolutely, you're gonna get a nice plethora of metal, and it's different forms, and
that's nice to hear.
It's pretty much it's what we grew up on, and we just kind of zoned in on it, and then put it to a song.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is that, I mean, we dropped the clutch and pedal to the metal. And, as the album goes, it's just going to keep taking you for a ride.
Yeah, I dig stuff like that. That's why I asked. I mean, and I think it's smart to come out with a heavy track first, though, because that kind of, like I said, at least people wanting more, and it's obviously hit a nerve with people, because it hit all the way to number 2. Not quite number 1, but hey, number 2 is not a bad place to land,
Yeah, not a bad start, and we're still fighting a good fight and working our way up the charts. So, number 2, I mean, we would never thought ever that it was going to debut out like that. It was surreal.
And maybe no offense to the original singer, but maybe William was kind of the needed ingredient. I mean, I think this is a way of saying your guys' collaboration seems to be working. It's only up from here, right?
Yeah, I can never put down the first singer.
Yeah.
They zoned into their sound.
Exactly.
Musicians,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I kind of just threw a little what I had for him.
Yeah, and so obviously when the new album is finally released, you're going to have a lot more songs that people are going to start to know. But do you think once you guys start doing more shows and the album comes out, do you think you'll continue to play the older material? Like, will it be a combination of what came before and what's on the new album?
I would say as the shows grow and the time limit of what we're allowed to play, we'll eventually, get to a point where we might have to bring, a couple of songs back into the set list.
Yeah.
Which is only natural and normal to have happen. But right now, with the time that we're given, sometimes we're opening up for an artist, and you might get only 30 minutes. Up there and slay everybody, and then get off the stage as fast as you can for setup and takedown. So, but this next show that Will spoke about earlier on June 10th, we will be performing the whole album. So you're going to get a solid hour straight of us just beating the hell out of you.
And I bet it's got to be interesting that fans are kind of, they've heard this one song, Behind These Eyes, but they haven't heard the other tunes on the album, so that's kind of got to be fun. They're hearing this stuff for the first time.
Yeah, the album's out, so get it.
Oh, it is? Oh, I wasn't even aware. That was my next question. Where can they get it? Because I've only seen the one track, so let us know where we can get it.
Yeah, I mean, you can iTunes. You can order it on pretty much like Amazon. Or go to Walmart or Target and place an order and get a physical copy. But it's on all the digital streaming as well.
So, on Amazon and that, if we go and order, can you get physical copies there right now?
You should be able to if absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. So how long?
They are still shipping on out, so how soon it will get to you?
Yeah.
Could be a week or so.
So how long has the album been out? Did it just come out?
It just today is the what?
The physical copies started to come out on the 25th.
Oh wow! Okay, wow.
The digital copies were, what was it? It was like the 13th, 12th?
11th, the digital pre-release, and then the physical copies.
I was
the 25th. Yeah.
Oh, so we're early in the game. Let me ask you guys. So you got such a great response from Behind These Eyes. Do you think there'll be an actual music video for that, or do you think you'll release one for another track?
At this point, we haven't gotten to talking about doing a video yet.
Yeah.
I think the biggest focus for us right now is us continuing with the radio campaign, even though we have the lyric video, and expanding on shows. And
just know that it's coming.
Yeah, there will be videos coming, but not at this moment.
Oh, that's great. That's something to look forward to. And you guys are on a great label there, Deco Entertainment. I mean, they've got a lot of great artists on there, kind of established artists like Carmine and Mark Stein, both from Vanilla Fudge, and they've got other new up and coming groups like you. So I think that's a great combination of different types of artists they have, and they promote the hell out of their artists.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they're like a family.
They welcomed us with open arms, for sure.
Yeah. And
it was reciprocated.
That's cool. And I'm assuming it was working with Carmine that kind of helped you guys get that deal.
I mean, originally that was, absolutely a part of him being able to pass our work along, and, interest immediately took place. So, certainly it was a help, but, as anybody, sometimes you just don't know with who you're going to get, if they're going to be able to take us on or not. And when Deco caught wind of Behind These Eyes was the first one, they immediately we'd love to hear more. And
they picked out from the ones we gave them.
Yeah.
They picked out Behind These Eyes first.
Yeah.
Wow. So that kind of, and they must know what they're talking about, because like I said, it landed at number 2, and people have just been responding great to the song. I can't wait to see how they respond to the rest of the album. And I was curious. Okay, so Mike, you're a guitar player. Let's talk about who are some of your guitar heroes growing up that influenced you doing what you're doing now.
Oh God, that is
hey, wait, hold on. Did we do a top 5?
Sure. Whatever you guys want. It's your...
I should have probably thought of that and came in prepared.
No.
Yeah. I mean, off the cuff, I mean, obviously, Jerry Cantrell, Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dimebag Darrell.
There you go.
Amazing. Alex Skolnick, Testament.
Yeah.
Awesome guitar player. And, of course, my guitar teacher. I can't leave them out.
There you go, number 5.
Number 5. No, I tell you guys,
what's the guitar teacher's name?
I had 2 guitar teachers.
Oh,
yeah.
So can we do 7 then?
Sure.
But they're obviously the biggest inspiration. Were the ones that were like, play that damn thing like you mean it.
Yeah.
And it's stuck with me since. I've learned so much from them, and they're the ones who introduced me to all these styles of music of these artists that I've named. I could go on with probably 30, 40, 50.
No, that's cool. Let me tell you guys, this is your story, and part of the reason we're doing this today is kind of to, learn about who you are, and that's part of it. I dig the fact that you included your music teachers. Now, when you were first starting to take lessons, Mike, were these guitar teachers, were they real strict? Like, hey, you better go home and study this stuff? And do you think that made you...
They would definitely let you know if you didn't.
Yeah.
There was a couple of those moments, but, they were just always really supportive and trying to teach you as much as they can in the window that you had during that lesson. And, I mean, the amount of material you would get, sometimes it would be overwhelming. Where you might not have gotten through all of it again. So there was moments like that happen, but turn me on to anywhere from like Tom Petty to Motorhead, and then you might be listening to some Robert Johnson Delta Blues.
Hey, it's all good here. I typically listen to metal and hard rock stuff, but I have an appreciation for stuff like you mentioned, Tom Petty, the Eagles. You know why? Great songwriting. These are songs you still hear on the radio. 30, 40 years later, so there's something to be said for that. And those are like the great songwriters, so
another favorite band of mine that they just knocked me right across the head was Aerosmith.
Oh, Aerosmith, yeah.
Great songwriters, great players. I mean, Joe Perry and Whitford, how they work together and they're playing, and just the whole chemistry. I just love it, and they're fantastic, man. If you ever get a chance to see him,
I have.
Do it.
Yeah, Brad Whitford, he's like their secret ingredient. I mean, Joe Perry, just love what that guy does. But Steven Tyler, let's be honest. I mean, he's a great frontman, and a lot of people don't realize he can play the harmonica. He started out as a drummer, so that's an interesting perspective.
And keyboards.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's some of the hits they've knocked out of the stadium are just impressive, man.
Oh yeah, they can do it. They can do it all. And you mentioned being influenced by Dimebag Darrell. I mean, what a talented guy. He died way too young. But I mean, when you think the guy was literally murdered on stage, and you just think about that for a minute, I don't think that's really happened since or before. But could you imagine going to a show and seeing your hero get shot right before your eyes? I mean, that must have been awful for those people that night.
I mean, all in all, it's traumatizing to hear something like that to happen, and I mean, my heart goes out to everybody, and the Abbott family, for with experiencing such a tragedy. So I couldn't imagine. I just really couldn't.
Yeah, and let me tell you guys, this is your story, so don't feel like I should have came prepared. You guys have been doing great with the interview, I think, and let me tell you a funny story about that. When I first started interviewing bands years ago, when I first started doing this, I would have everything written out beforehand, thinking I was going to be all prepared. But what I found out, you end up sounding more kind of robotic, and I learned kind of to do it this way, kind of freestyle, and like you're talking to your friend or something. That seems to work better.
It feels like cool just to hang.
that's kind of the vibe we're going for here. So, what has that been like for you?
Bad we're not out there by you. We'd probably be having this interview, barbecuing.
Yeah.
We're talking to the seat of a chair right now.
Yeah. I'm in my living room right now. So in sunny California. Yeah, Long Beach, California.
We're in rainy Chicago right now.
Yeah. The weather here gets interesting. Like 2 days ago, it was pouring down rain, and now the sun is out. Just never know. But I wouldn't trade living in this area for all the money in the world. But what's it like where you guys are as far as the music scene?
The music scene isn't. COVID took out a lot of venues, which is unfortunate. So that in itself is a challenge.
Tribute scene's working.
The tribute scene's big.
But there's some changes going around, and there's some different kinds of music coming out.
Wow.
I'm enjoying what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
The new batch.
And so let me ask you, Mike, how did you guys come up with the name Chain Over Razors? I'm assuming kind of do with metal, and it kind of sounds like that. But what's the story there? I'd love to ask people how they came up.
It's a good long story, man.
Okay.
So it's like 3 different eras of how that name took. I mean, obviously, when you're looking for a name, you want to make sure like it sticks.
Yeah.
That obviously, in 3 or 4 months, is it still cool and is it representing what you're looking to do? And we had a roster of names, and Chains Over Razors was on that roster, and which there are moments where like you could be, say, walking on an alley and see a set of chains, and you're like, hey, Chains Over Razors, and where it finally came that like it felt right was a TV show, a docuseries.
Okay.
And it had to do with like either taboo on what's welcome here in this country, not.
Yeah.
And one of them was like body suspension, which was interesting. The chains. Another one, which I actually met someone once years ago, they got it done, but it's a form of like scarring where they use a razor, or you would hope they would be clean and use a scalpel and take all the precautions, and they would graft your skin in patterns, stuff that
Wow.
do in tribes. Yeah, and it was like razors, Chains Over Razors, and it just felt right. And it was like, you know what, like that's the name, and we're have brought it more to COR at this point, which is the core members, William and my brother and I, and it just felt right.
I think for a metal band, it just kind of seems very fitting. I'm kind of interested in hearing that story, because I know that's one of the hardest things is coming up with them. Now, let me ask you another question. So you guys right now are kind of what I call a power trio. Did you ever have was it always have a plan to be just a 3-piece band, or do you ever have any thought about having a second guitar player?
So that all started when we first worked with Carmine. We were only a 3-piece.
Cool.
And he just thought the sound was so large as it is, and at the time we didn't have a bass player, and I told him that, and he was like, there's no bass on this stuff? And I'm like, no, it's just the guitar, drums, and a demo idea of the vocals of the song at the time. And he was like, that's it, you're going to be a 3-piece.
I mean, some of the most legendary bands, Cream, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Mountain. It's a very, I think, that says it right all there, that you guys can be a power trio, and there's not too many of those in metal, so that's great. And have you ever played with another guitar player, or you always like kind of?
Yeah, in past bands that my brother and I have been in and out of, it might have been a 5-piece, in a rock band, or a 4-piece. It just worked its way to this 3-piece, and we have tools. My guitar rig that I designed. If you're familiar with Fractal at all, I had the capability of building my rig of stereo guitars and transposing my 7-string Les Paul that I had built to play bass. So I'm kind of running all 3 at once in a tuning that I'm in, which is pretty low tuning. Yeah. And that's how the sound developed.
Oh, wow.
Where it is now.
And I imagine
what you're hearing it is actually the setup.
Okay, and I'd imagine being on stage, it's a lot better having just 3 guys up there as opposed to 4 or 5, less people to run into. But
yeah, especially when you're opening up. There has been a gig where the back back line pushes you right up to the edge of the stage, and you might have like one foot to move, and you're like, all right, I can't move anywhere, and I hope I don't crack my guitar across something.
Now, Mike, I got to ask you, since you've been there since day one, there's two groups of people when it comes to fans for this band. There's people like me that are just discovering you guys for the first time, and then you have kind of people that have been following the band since the early days. I mean, how have those fans responded, to the new lineup and everything?
Oh, I mean, they all respected the original lineup, which was the last singer, but what chemistry this new setup with William brought was a whole new level of power that we were putting together. And I mean, everyone who saw us for the first time, their jaws are usually on the floor, and not to come off that way, but it's just, they're just like, holy shit, what just happened? And for us, we've grown used to what we're doing. For others, it's the first time, and it's fantastic that we're shocking people that way.
Oh wow! And so, William, how accepting do you think the fans have been towards you since you've joined?
Extremely. I'm not trying to step in anyone's shoes.
No, I understand. Yeah, the reason I ask, like I said, is there's two group of people. I mean, it must be a great feeling. You have a new album out, and people have been kind of responding to it in a positive way. You have your singles reached number 2 on the Billboard chart. Like I said, what an amazing thing. And then you've got people like me just discovering you for the first time, know nothing about what you did before. So you got two groups of people. And I think that's got to be a great feeling too, having a new singer, people just discovering you and for the first time.
It's to me, I've been doing this for about 20 years, just singing myself.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I enjoy that people are enjoying what I'm doing.
And how involved were you after joining the band with the songwriting? Like, were the songs already written, or did you get a chance to contribute to any of it?
No, the songs, it was just we got together in in the studio.
Yeah.
We just started writing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all it was. They had some riffs that they would record, or the drums and the guitar work, and then real rough. And then you would just come up with, or at least I would, come up with some melodies, and then start writing the lyrics for it.
So there were no rules, like the brothers didn't tell you, okay, William, let it rip and do your thing, but it's kind of a chain over razors box we want to stay in. You're kind of free to do your thing, huh?
I was absolutely wide open to do whatever the hell I wanted to do.
How cool is that? And you mentioned playing in other bands and the tribute band that you sing in, but I was curious, were you always a singer? Did you play any other instruments before?
I actually put down the guitar a long time ago.
Okay.
For my because of my favorite singer that actually made me become a singer.
Let's hear that story.
Have you ever heard of the band called Snot?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not too familiar with them, but I know, I've heard the name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they were from the late '90s.
Yeah.
They came out with an album with it's actually the singer's dog on the front cover.
Okay.
Fish-eyed lens, and he's got a lemon balanced on his nose. It says Snot across the lemon.
Yeah.
To me, they were part of the new metal.
Yeah, new metal.
Category. They had a bunch of friends that were there. The singer passed away.
Wow.
Like right after they put out their first album. Actually not. Actually, they were about to go in the studio for their second album so he can record vocals, and he passed away with his dog that was on the front cover. Yeah,
I'm a real dog lover myself, so
me too.
That touches my heart. So, wow. And the reason I ask is a lot of guys, they might start off playing the guitar, and then they find out they can sing, or somebody will tell you, hey, you got a pretty decent voice. Why don't you just put down the guitar and become the frontman? I mean, what was that process like for you? Did you always think you were a decent singer?
I was into a lot of classic rock when I picked up the guitar. My dad is a beautiful man, and he showed me the way.
Okay, yeah.
I was listening to like CST Music Factory and
Wow.
Milli Vanilli and all that shit.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me show you some classic rock, and let's see where this goes. I picked up the guitar because of Hendrix and Gilmore.
Wow.
Both of those beautiful, beautiful bastards.
Wow, yeah. You can't go wrong with either of those guys. I mean, David Gilmour, I mean, he's still doing it. So he's been doing it for years. And Hendrix, I mean, died tragically young, but look at the legacy that guy left.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so what was the transition like as far as, were you always comfortable as being a frontman and a singer, or was it something that you had to kind of adjust?
I was absolutely terrible.
Wow.
I started in a band. Actually, I think my first try to sing was I got up on stage, and you just said this. What was the name of the band? Oh, it was Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I got up to try to sing one of the songs, and it was like a karaoke thing at the time, and absolutely lost everything. And I just sat there like quiet, and I just looked down like, oh, I'm never letting this happen again. And I never did. I was so young. I think I was like 12.
And look at you now.
I'm gonna start learning all the lyrics to these songs.
Yeah.
But besides that, I was playing guitar at the time, and I put down the guitar when I heard Snot. It was over for me. I was not over. I play the guitar. I'm not very good. Never got lessons, but I have had 20 years of experience singing.
And look at you now. I mean, what an amazing story. I mean, you and your bandmates now, you have a song that hit #2 on the Billboard chart. I mean, so you may have taken a long time to get there and a lot of practice, but that is dedication. I mean, and you're doing it. So I just love that.
You know what? I look at him and I go, look at us. I mean, who'd have thunk? Yeah. Not me.
And then you meet Mike, who can just play a mean lead guitar. So I mean, maybe he's doing his thing on the guitar, and you do your thing vocally. So together, you guys are just.
He made my job very easy.
Yeah.
Him and his brother, they just came up with these riffs and drum beats. I'm like blown away.
And Mike, I've heard stories, we mentioned some other famous brothers like the Van Halens and that. I've heard them talk over years where they were kind of in sync with, they knew what the other guy was going to play. You have that kind of connection with your brother?
We 100%. 100%.
I'm going to speak up for them.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, us jamming and writing songs, we don't even have to have eye contact on, feeling a change that might happen, and we'll just kind of do it. And then what happens, and it's like, oh man, that was awesome, let's do it again. So we do have that connection. We can instinctually know what we're going to do.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So let the folks know where they can find you online. I mean, you guys have a Facebook page. Is there another official site they can go if they want?
We're also on Instagram and Twitter, all the media socials.
There you go.
I like to call it. So, I mean, you could drop us a line anywhere and we'll respond back and, get into our world of goofiness that we can bring to you.
And so is the plan, what's the plan as far as the tour behind the new album? I mean, do you guys get outside of your local area? You planning to take it to other states?
We 100% will do that. We haven't locked down where or with who we're going to tour with yet, as everything is happening so fast right now that we're just taking a day at a time to put this all in place so we can hit all the markets that we're in with the album from the song playing on radio. So that's definitely our next step. I mean, right now regional is what's coming on up, and which is good because it's keeping us busy, and we just want to keep expanding on out.
And the final question I have for you guys, talking about getting out there, the power of the internet, which we see with this band, you must get messages from people in parts of the world where you haven't even stepped foot in, and telling you how great your music is, and that's got to be kind of tripping you out, like, oh, somebody's messaging us from the other side of the world. They're listening to our music. That's pretty cool.
It's soul soothing, and we just had a radio station, random radio station from Australia.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Like our post, just randomly. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And like I said, you've only played a handful of shows with the new lineup, and the song is already number 2. Maybe with the next single, go all the way to number 1. But congratulations, you guys, so far. And
thank you.
I plan to get the full album now, and when I get a chance to listen to it, maybe we can do a follow-up interview. I'd like to talk specifically about some of the songs, but the interview we did today, I'm planning to post it sometime next week. Once I get a date for you guys, I will let you know. Then feel free to share it on any of your sites or whatever you want to do with it. And let's keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't appreciate it more, man.
Anytime. Take care.
You too, Jason.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine.